Hi, I'm Rick Vazza, president of Driven Wealth Management. Today, we're specifically going to be talking to some of you high-income earners that have heard the concept of front-loading your 401k contributions. Now, normally, this can be a savvy investment strategy, but there are some important things to consider, and if you're not aware of them, you're going to be costing yourselves a lot of money. So that's what we're going to cover today. But before we jump into that, I think it's important to set the context of what exactly is front-loading your 401k contribution. Well, normally what's going to happen is when you're contributing to a 401k plan, you're going to have a percentage of your salary automatically reduced and sent off to the 401k with each paycheck that you receive. So it's a very seamless and kind of behind the scenes process. Typically, that's going to happen on each pay period. So you'll have a choice in how much withholdings you're going to make that are sent off directly to the account. Now, because the markets typically have a propensity to increase over time, savvy investors might say, well, instead of doing that contribution every single month, what if I could front load those contributions and get as much into the account as possible early in the year so I have a higher probability of seeing those investments increase with the market over time? So it can be a great strategy. Now, it's important to recognize your 401k for 2020 has a contribution limit of $19,500. So it's pretty large. So there's a specific percentage of the population that this is going to be applicable to, where they're going to be able to front load those 401ks. Of course, not everyone's going to be able to do that. But before doing so, it's really important that you speak with your HR department and ask if you are receiving a company match if the company will offer what's called a true-up. So a true-up is probably best described using some Excel formulas to show you. And I'll pull that up here so you can actually see exactly the math on what you could potentially be leaving on the table. All right, so let's assume you're working with a $200,000 salary and you're looking to max out your 401k contribution. Now, typically on a per pay period, that's going to be a 9.75% contribution rate that you would have plugged in for your 401k. And just to give you an idea, that's a monthly value of $1,625 that's going to be shuffled over to the 401k account. So let's say for the sake of the example, your company now is offering a match of 5% for every dollar that you contribute into the plan. Well, to give you an idea, if you're getting paid on a monthly basis, that means every time you're sending that $1,625 to your account, your employer is also sending $833.33 to the account. So it's a pretty great deal. Now, if you do decide to front load your 401k plan, though, recognize you may be missing out on all of those contributions. So for example, let's say in the most extreme scenario, you decide that you're going to max out your 401k entirely in that first pay period. And so you have the full $19,500 going into the account. Well, recognize the company is, again, only matching 5%, so that's that $833. So you've now potentially cost yourself 11 more months of contributions that your employer is not going to be making. So what you thought was a savvy investment strategy just cost you close to $9,100. So you've left a ton of money on the table. Now, what you can do is talk to your HR department of your employer before making this decision and ask them if the company offers what's called a true-up. So if they do offer a true-up, you can still move forward with this investment strategy of front-loading your 401k contributions. But at the end of the year, that $9,167 that the company would have otherwise been making on your behalf, they'll actually top off your account and fill it up with those contributions so you won't in fact miss out on it. So it's extremely important if you decide to implement this front-loading 401k strategy that you make sure you're not leaving that money on the table, because otherwise it defeats the entire purpose of the strategy. It's usually about 50-50, flip of a coin, whether an HR department is going to say yes or no to the true-up. So it's definitely an important thing to ask. Don't just assume yours does. And if they don't, the reality is you're likely going to want to just keep making those periodic contributions on your regular pay schedule. You're really not going to outweigh the benefits of getting that employee match with the benefits of that front-loaded 401k contribution. So that's it in a nutshell. Specifically for a lot of you high-income earners, make sure to ask your HR department. And if you get the green light, it is definitely something that you can look into. And if your cash flow supports it, you could be potentially earning quite a bit of extra money every single year that you're able to implement this type of process. I hope you found that information helpful. If you did, always appreciate you hitting that like button, and be sure to subscribe if you're interested in getting more personal finance information like this to help you take control of your finances. I'm Rick Vazza with Driven Wealth Management. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.